chat, then I'm going to go through what's happening in LA. So I don't know, probably 4 or 5 months ago, I sold my house in LA. Right now I'm in New York City and experiencing the changes in both LA and New York over the last 12 months is really unbelievable. But to me, it looks like we're just beginning this series of change. And I'm going to walk you through what's happening. So last week I reported on a very prominent individual and what happened in Truesdale Estates in Beverly Hills. This lady, unfortunately, was executed, unfortunately, by someone in her home. And she was very prominent. Her husband was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, lived up and down the street from 30, 40, 50, $80 million mansions. The least expensive home in that community is probably $7 million, just to give context. Well, now things have only escalated from there. Now, I'm going to say what's up in the chat. I'm going to walk you guys through what's going on. What's up, everybody? So, take a look at this. This is really wild to me. I never thought, to me, this always seems like something that would be in a movie. But LA detective compares The Purge to Los Angeles due to crime rise. This came out today. Imagine that. I mean, we've all seen the movie The Purge. Who would have actually thought that that could actually be, a real life situation? He goes on to say that Los Angeles Police Department detective is warning people not to come to the city as incidents of smash and grab and follow home robberies have risen. Follow home robberies are very, very, they're growing in popularity because essentially they can size somebody up based on their watches. These criminals are actually getting so smart because if you're wearing, let's say, a Patek or a Richard Mille, they know that watch is probably $150, $200, $300, $500,000. And if you have that on your wrist, who knows what you have at your house? And so they can follow you home. In that scenario, it's less likely you're gonna, be around people that are gonna call the cops on them. So they're more enticed to do that. So Jay McBride is also director of Los Angeles Police Protective League. In an appearance on Fox Monday, McBride told anchors that he's telling people do not visit because we don't think we can keep you safe right now, comparing LA to the movie Purge. But instead of 24 hours to commit your crime, they have 365 days. McBride blamed the crime surge on things like Proposition 47, which changed sentencing guidelines, as well as the state's zero bail policy, which he puts criminals back on the street faster than the officers can finish the report. Last week, LAPD Chief Micah Moore and LA Mayor Eric Garcetti announced 14 arrests in connection with a series of smash and grab robberies spanning late November. All 14 of those people were taken into custody, later released due to the state's zero bail policy. In order to fix the problem, McBride suggested starting from the top with Governor Gavin Newsom called out local officials last week saying that the shoplifters should be prosecuted, calling the spate of robberies unacceptable. The governor has also promised a proposed budget he sends the state lawmakers next month will significantly increase our efforts to go after retail rings. Many policing changes were made in response, right? So this party happened in the Pacific Palisades. So if you don't know how Los Angeles is laid out, you have Hollywood Hills here, right? Hollywood Hills, everyone knows Hollywood. It goes Hollywood Hills. Then it goes Beverly Hills, then Bel Air, and then you have Brentwood, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, right? And so when we're looking at this map, this is where this laid out, Palisades. The least expensive home in this community is showing you that money does not buy you safety. This was in the Palisades. So you have homes 79 mil, 24. This is 16 and a half, 10.2, 30 mil, 11 mil, 8.5. The least expensive home inside of the Palisades right now for sale above $5 million, even without the $5 million price tag, because that was preset. I mean, they're all 46, 5. You don't have any homes in the $2 to $3 to $4 million range. Oh, here, there's one for 3.65. This is the least expensive home. Oh, no, 2.25 over here. That's the least expensive home. But this is, just a nothing burger, just a bungalow. It's nice, it's beautiful, right? But in comparison to the adjacent properties, this is not anything spectacular. All these homes, I would probably say the median home price is probably somewhere around $10 million, 10 to 12. You have 79, 30, 11, 46.5, 15.5, right? And so two people, they're robbed at gunpoint during the holiday party in the Palisades. And so how this went down is a frightening armed robbery shut down a holiday party in the Palisades. Surveillance video obtained by Eyewitness News shows two suspects entering a side gate that was open and walking through another gate into the home. Two of the partygoers came upstairs to get some of their belongings. They were held at gunpoint and were asked for their iPhones, wallets, Apple Watch. One of them had jewelry, said the homeowner, who wished to remain anonymous. She said men were not known to the guests. I hope they get caught, and people just be aware, said the homeowner. Lock your door. I never thought people would come in during a holiday party. That's the state of the world today. Meanwhile, in another crime investigation in LA, the Los Angeles Police Department released video of a flash mob robbery at the Nordstrom store at Topanga Westfield Mall that occurred November 24th, so about 2 weeks ago. Security guard was assaulted and sprayed in the face with bear spray while the store was open. Right? So, again, this is the layout of the land for the people that don't know Los Angeles. The layout of the land here, when you see how, this is why I think that everything is going to be so obvious for me anyway to see how this goes. Is this here. All of the money in LA, for the most part, and I'm going to put this back as a price point here of, say, $5 million again. You're going to see all of the money, for the most part, is either along the coastline or on the other side of Sunset. And all the other properties here are relatively inexpensive. So when word continues getting out that people can do these things, and the police department literally says that, hey, it's like the movie The Purge, and instead of it just being one night, it's 365 days a year, people are gonna feel untouched, right? They're gonna feel untouchable. So what are they gonna do? They're obviously gonna go where the opportunity relies, really, which is gonna be here. It's gonna be in these prime areas, right? And it's a shame because I think things are, as I mentioned, like only gonna get crazier